Welcome back, guys. Daniel here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my experience of my daughter Kinsley's delivery day. Hopefully I can give you guys some insight as to how it went from the father's perspective. So it actually happened on a Tuesday morning. I remember I was getting ready for work and my wife had woken up as well, and she mentioned that she was leaking a little bit. And she didn't think too much of it. She wasn't too concerned. She was pretty calm. For me, I remember our OB mentioning, if there's any kind of leakage, don't even call her, just go straight to the hospital to get it checked out. And so I was like, honey, we should go to the hospital and get it checked out. It may be nothing, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And then I remember she was joking a little bit. She was like, we have a baby shower the next day. We can't have her today. But we ended up leaving to go get it checked out. We got there around 10:30 and had to wait a little bit to check in. So we got into a waiting room around 11. In order for you to be admitted to a delivery and labor room, you actually have to either be dilated 3 to 4 centimeters or have regular contractions around 5 minutes apart, or have your water broken. The nurse actually confirmed she was 1 centimeter dilated, and she did confirm that her water broke. So I remember the nurse saying specifically, your water broke, so you're definitely not leaving this hospital without a baby. And that's when it hit me really hard. I was like, this is for real, this is happening, and I'm gonna be a father. It was a little nerve-wracking. So that's when I ended up texting, calling my family, my friends, letting my work know, like, this is for real, like, it's game time. So we actually didn't get into a room for a few hours. We were in the waiting room and I got a little bit hungry. Remember, I went down to the cafeteria to check out what they had, and surprisingly their food was pretty good. It was better than I expected. I had a burger and fries. If you guys want, you guys can always use a food delivery service. I ended up using like Uber Eats for dinner. And they usually deliver to hospitals, so you should be good. So around 3 o'clock, they finally admitted us to a delivery and labor unit. At that time, I wasn't really prepared. I didn't really bring anything with me. My wife had her hospital bag already prepared, so that's one thing I would suggest for you guys, is to go over the hospital bag with your wives. They usually will be a lot more prepared than the guys are. So go over the hospital bag with them so you know where everything is, and if they need something, you can help them out, because any little bit of help and comfort that you can give them while you're there is going to go a long way. So for myself, I wasn't prepared. I didn't bring anything myself. At that time, my wife wasn't feeling a whole lot of pain. It's just very minor. So we figured that I had some time to, go back home, because we lived pretty close to the hospital. One thing I suggest for you guys, definitely bring your own pillow and blanket, because the hospital pillows and blankets are pretty stiff. They're not very comfortable. And you're gonna be spending quite a long time in the hospital, usually at least 2 nights. So you're gonna be spending a lot of time in that room. You wanna be as comfortable as possible. Definitely bring something comfortable to wear, whether it's like joggers or t-shirts or whatever you're gonna wear to sleep. Bring your toiletries, whatever you need, your routine for your face or whatever. And it was at this time when I was at home that I got a text from my wife, and she was like, where are you? I'm starting to get stronger pain. My contractions are getting stronger. Get back here. And that's why I suggest you guys be prepared and know what you want to bring beforehand, so you don't have to go home and grab stuff and leave your wife in pain at the hospital. When I got back to the hospital, I could totally tell she was in quite a bit of pain. They had already given her painkillers through her IV, and her pain level finally got to like a 7 or 8, and they eventually gave her fentanyl, which is like 100 times stronger than morphine. And they gave her like 4 different doses, and they had to space it out, like I think it was like an hour and a half each. Her first dose lasted like half an hour, and it brought her pain from like an 8 to a 2. But the more doses she took, the less effective they were getting, and the stronger her contractions were getting at the same time. So I believe her second dose lasted only 20 minutes, and then her third dose 10 minutes, and then her final dose was like, it only lasted like 5 minutes, and it brought her pain level from like a 10 to a 7. So she was in a lot of pain at this time. So guys, be present for your wives, be fully there for them, get off your cell phones and just be there emotionally to support them. Give her your hand to squeeze, just like the movies. It's just like the movies, because they're in so much pain, all they can do is just squeeze your hand. Like, I couldn't even see her eyes, they're just closed and clenched, and every minute she's just in pain. So just be there for them. Eventually her pain was so strong that she needed the epidural. They didn't want to give us the epidural too early. She was only dilated 1 centimeter, and it took 10 hours to go from 1 centimeter to 2.5. So eventually her pain got so unbearable, we asked the nurses for the epidural, and the anesthesiologist was working on 2 other patients at the time, so we were third in line. So we didn't get the epidural until like an hour later. When the anesthesiologist finally came, he asked me if I was squeamish at all. I was like, why? I'm not sure. I think I could get squeamish if I look at my own blood. And he was like, you know, we've had dads like faint and fall over looking at the procedure. So they actually sat me in a chair across from my wife and the anesthesiologist. But I could see from the corner of my eye, like the equipment he used, the needles were humongous and the needles were super long. They actually injected her 3 different times, so it could be a little overwhelming, so just be prepared for that. But after they gave her the epidural, after all that was done, like she was immediately like relieved. I could see her eyes again, she had life in her body, and we were both able to rest a bit. Like, we actually fell asleep. So after like a couple hours, a nurse came in to check on my wife's vitals, and she checked her dilation. She went from 2.5 centimeters to 9 centimeters. So she called in the other nurse to get the delivery equipment ready. I was actually still asleep at this time, but another nurse come in and kind of go over the delivery process with my wife, and she was gonna go over like how to push so that when the doctor eventually came that she would be ready. But actually when she was going over the pushing procedure, she saw that the baby's hair was already showing through, and she called the doctor, and they turned on all the lights, and I finally woke up and I was like, what's going on? And they were like, delivery is happening pretty soon. I can see the hair. Calling the doctor right now. So the doctor eventually came, and the whole delivery process was really quick. It was like less than 5 minutes. So now I know that the actual difficult part of the delivery is not the delivery itself, it's the contractions. It's like the most painful thing, and it's the longest part. You gotta wait. But the delivery process was super fast. They went through the delivery, and our baby was born, and she was this tiny little hairy hairball, and I didn't quite feel like a dad yet. All I could see was this furry baby with like purple skin, and they had me cut the umbilical cord, which I did. It felt like I was snipping some meat like in a Korean barbecue. The whole thing went so fast. And I remember during the whole delivery, I was filming the whole process, and the doctor looked at me and he's like, you know, touch your baby, she's your baby. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was so scared to like touch her, to hold her. Eventually, I didn't feel like a dad until after they swaddled her, cleaned her up, and mom had her golden hour with her. When we were getting ready to go to sleep, and they swaddled her and put her down to rest, I felt like, you know, this is my daughter. Like, I'm gonna love her as much as I can.
Mommy loves you, mommy loves you.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my experience during this whole process. And if you guys liked the video, please give us a like. Leave any comments below, and feel free to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss any videos in the future. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.